Is there something that you're trying to have changed, or are you just trying to practice law and kind of help as best you can?
My original idea was to, to do some of that policy type of things. I am interested in that. I don't know that I will be directly involved in that. Somewhat through my work with the medical school here at Liberty, I may have a chance to have some policy impact.
Right.
I think where we're headed now is wrong-headed because, as I mentioned, I think we're going to end up having care that is. We're going to be cutting off care to older people, and we're going to have to redistribute care.
Gotcha.
I'm not looking forward to that time.
Yeah.
So, I would like to see us move toward a free market solution. For example, many people out there have talked about the whole idea of health savings accounts.
Right.
And this would be a free market type of health relationship, so that the government even could give you, say, $1,000 a year, and then you could use that $1,000 on your health care whichever way you wanted to.
Right.
Well, if you had $1,000 and you came into my office and I said, well, you need this test and this test and this test, you're much more likely to say to me, well, why do I need those tests? What are they going to do for you? How are you going to learn more about my condition by doing those tests if you knew it was coming out of kind of your pocket?
Right.
Because that $1,000 could be willed to your, if you started accumulating money,
right.
you could give it to your family and will it to your family. You care now where that $1,000 is going.
Personal possession of their property is going to kind of instigate having more involvement in their own.
Right. It's like when you bought that computer, you cared how much it cost.
Right.
You say, well, why am I buying this one and not this one?
One.
Right. I have a lot of people on an everyday basis who say to me, well, will my insurance cover this? I said, yeah, they will. Okay, well, that's fine.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're not so interested in the cost of that procedure, not so interested in the efficacy of the procedure, what it's going to give me, and knowledge-wise, they just want to know.
And that seems to be a large principle that separates most entrepreneurs even from kind of going into your own business, is how personally invested am I in this ideal financially, has a lot to do with it, or otherwise. Is there any personal characteristics that you would say are more of a benefit to you as an entrepreneur, or to entrepreneurs in general, to people who want to maybe go their own way and don't want to go underneath of just strict policies that are already laid out for them, kind of want to break the mold a little bit? Any characteristics that you possess that you think are helpful?
Well, I think there are two things I would say would be autonomy and risk-taking ability. And really, there are a lot of people in this world, and I don't. It's fine. They would rather take orders, and rather have things laid out for them. It's the whole idea. Like, if you were going to open a restaurant, would you prefer to open a franchise, or would you prefer to open, Michael's Kitchen, or Michael's Restaurant? It's really, if you open your franchise, it's turnkey, right? They're going to build it out for you. They're going to do the advertising for you. It's all turnkey. You just pay them the money and it's there.
Right.
If you open Michael's Restaurant, you have the ability to make it look however you're going to want to make it look. And so I would never want a franchise. That's just me. I want to forge my own way.
Sure.
I don't want a franchise. And that's how I feel about my life in general. I'd rather lose and have worked hard at getting to where I was than to just have laid down and just say I never tried. I just want to. I'd rather just throw it all out there.
Sure. Well, that sounds like almost kind of like your word to the up-and-coming generation too, or an up-and-coming entrepreneurs, is to not be afraid to carve your own way, in a sense. Would you say that you're advocating that, or is this is kind of the way you've looked at it, at least?
I think it is personality driven. Not everyone who I'd advise, if I got a sense that their personality didn't lend itself to that kind of risk. For example, my son-in-law, is much less of a risk taker. It's just not in his personality.
Right.
So he found a job where he's in the medical field also, but his job is very set in its hours. He doesn't have to worry about advertising or anything like that. He just goes to work, comes home, and he loves it. So I look at that and say, oh, I would hate to do that,
Sure.
And he just loves it. So when we talk, he would hate what I do too. So I think it really has to do a lot with personality and just who you are. I bet if you looked back at the people who you've studied who were entrepreneurs and successful, that they had personality traits that weave through that whole group that you could pick out and say Steve Jobs and the guy who was the Dallas Mavericks and all of the they're similar in personality because they're willing to do certain things that other people aren't willing to do.
Right. Okay. Well, that is probably a good place to end it then.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming and talking about your personal models, and I think that it's different for each person for sure. They need to keep that in mind. But yeah, thanks for coming out.
Appreciate it.